Subscribe. What does freedom truly mean to you? How do you define freedom? The truth is, everybody has a different definition based on how they were raised, what their life was like up until this very point, and what they like and what they don't like, what they prefer and what they don't prefer. But what if I told you that there's one word that encompasses, it's the common denominator between all different definitions of how you may define freedom? In this episode of Inspired, the last episode of Inspired, we're going to be speaking about authenticity, what it truly means to be free, and beyond just the word, what it looks like to walk in that very path. My name is Jason Shurka, and this is Inspired. So if I asked you to visualize what a free life looks like, what a life of true liberation really means, how would you define that? And think about that right now as I'm asking you that question. Maybe take a second to write it down. What does freedom mean to you? What does liberation mean to you? And the first thoughts that may come to your mind may be a bit surface based on your life specifically. So now I'm going to ask you to go deeper and deeper and deeper, all the way until you get to the point of understanding and remembering that freedom is simply being who you are, being authentic, speaking your truth, saying what you have to say. Now, does that mean that we'll all always be perfect at that once we reach that? No, because we're human beings. And that's also a part of freedom. Understanding that perfection is not what we think it is, but there's a perfection in imperfection as well. Allowing things to be as they are, allowing you to be who you are, and not always wondering and worrying, what's the other person going to say? What are they going to say about me? Are they going to say something about me to my friends that I don't want them to say about me? And the truth is, does that really matter? Because if that's who you are, then who cares what people say? Authenticity is freedom. Authenticity is liberation. But now we're going to take it to the next level. Some people can hear this message and start saying, okay, well, I'm just going to say exactly what I want to say all the time. And that's not what I'm saying, because we also have to keep in mind who we're speaking to when we're delivering a message, while always choosing to remain authentic in the message that we're delivering. I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's say that your truth is about a specific topic that the person you may be speaking to is simply not yet ready to hear. Then if you just go all out from your perspective without just considering where they're at, then not only will they look at you like, what did that person just say? And that doesn't matter. But the important part is they're not going to receive the message that you intended for them to receive. So with true freedom and authenticity, there's also this technique that I like using called the calibration method. And the calibration method is a way to remain authentic in yourself, living a life of freedom and liberation, speaking your truth while considering others and where they're at. If you're speaking to somebody on level 3 of awareness on a specific topic, and you're on level 10 of awareness on that specific topic, then if you speak from that level without calibrating to where they're at, not dumbing yourself down, but by considering where they're at, then your message will go right over their head. And if the point of sharing messages is not just to share it for you, but to share it for the world as a whole, because ultimately we are one, we're one unit, and we're here to help each other wake up, not forcefully, but through proper guidance, then the only way to reach people is by speaking to them on their level. The calibration starts with first gauging where that person is at. How do you gauge? You ask questions. Don't assume they know what you know, but ask questions. See where they're at. See how they answer those questions. And based on how they answer those questions, you ask further questions with an intention. And that intention is to guide them to where you're at. in an authentic way. So what I'm really proposing here, what I'm really saying here, is speak your truth and be authentic, but consider where the other person is at so they can hear the message that you're trying to say. And if you can do that, that's how we mix the two instead of going to both sides of the extreme, where one side of the extreme is just going to be reckless and say exactly what you need to say without considering the person. And the other side of the spectrum is not saying anything because you're afraid of what that person will say. How do we get the best of both worlds? Remain authentic, but have the message heard and received in the best and most effective way possible. To summarize this message up when it comes to the calibration method specifically, be honest and authentic in yourself, but consider where they're at to be able to have that message received. Authenticity is what a free life is. Being who you came here to be is what true liberation is. I know a lot of people, and I know you all know a lot of people, that have a purpose, but they're afraid of stepping into that purpose. The calibration method works on a one-on-one level, but there's a collective level of being here too. And when it comes to the collective, just be you. When you're afraid of, is that person going to think I'm crazy? Then you're attaching to the very things that no longer serve you. Because guess what speaking your truth does? Speaking your truth is the equivalent of fasting, only in a different way, not with toxins in your body, but toxins in your life. If there are people that don't resonate with you, when you speak your truth, you'll find out who those people are. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just doesn't mean that they're in alignment with you. Living a true life is living life in alignment with yourself so your reality can align to who you truly are. Instead of living a life where you're just sitting there and pretending to be somebody else. And when you do that, your resonance doesn't match your reality. And when your internal resonance doesn't match your reality, there's this dissonance. And suddenly you're surrounded around people who aren't for your highest good, who aren't there to help you, not because they're bad, but because you're not speaking your truth, because you're not being authentic. The second I started speaking my truth and going public with it, I lost a lot of friends, but I gained a lot of friends. I gained a lot of new people. And the people that I gained in my life were the people that truly aligned with who I am and who I was at the time. And the more I spoke that truth on that path, I lost even those friends and I gained new friends. Think about it like fasting. As you fast, as you detox, you get rid of what no longer serves you. And you walk into what does. And when you change your perspective in that way, then the loss of friends was never a loss. It was just a change of resonance, a resonance that serves you better in your mission. And if you're living your purpose, if you're living your mission, guess what happens next? You're able to give a whole lot more in your life. When you're aligned, when you're whole, when you're authentic, it doesn't matter who says what anymore. It doesn't matter what happens around you anymore. What matters is you doing what you came here to do. And generally, if you're one of the change makers in the world, and I assume that every single one of you watching this are, which is the reason why you're watching this, to be inspired one way or another in your own path. If you are a change maker, you will be met with what's perceived as resistance, because change doesn't happen without resistance. Change happens with, ooh, we need to move from here to here. And when you move, there's an exertion of energy. So be ready for that. When you step into that authentic place, those things of resistance, those experiences of resistance, they're your indications of success. It means you're doing what you came here to do. So to sum up this message, big picture, freedom is authenticity. Liberation is authenticity. On the individual level, calibrate to the person while still living in your truth to help them receive that truth. And instead of you going down to level 3, help them come up to level 10. On the collective level, be who you are, always. And allow the people that resonate with you to gravitate toward you. And allow the people who don't to move away. Don't worry about the loss or the gain. Just pay attention to why you came here in the first place. Live in your purpose. Live on your path. Live in alignment with your mission. And that is what freedom truly looks like. I had an amazing time recording this series because as I speak, I learn. These lessons, by the way, are not just for you guys listening to them. As they come out of my mouth and flow through me, I learn from them as well. Ultimately, the examples that I bring are reflections of the experiences that I've gone through. So don't just stick to those examples. In all 8 episodes, in this entire series of Inspired, don't just stick to the exact examples and things that I've brought forth, but pay attention to the principles that were brought up through this 8-part series. And if you can apply those principles in your own way, and just like you've learned something because of this energy flowing through me, you'll be able to teach me something as well. That's why we're here, to be both the student and the teacher. And we have to play both roles always if we want to succeed and fulfill the reason why we came here in the first place. I thank you all for being a part of this series and for going through this journey with me. I'm inspired, and I hope this inspired you as well. I look forward to creating more of these down the line, and I thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. I'll see you all next time, and I thank you all very much for your support and your love. My name is Jason Shurka, and this is Inspired.
Subscribe.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. There's so much more I'd like to dive into, but unfortunately, we can't do that here thanks to the heavy censorship efforts from Big Tech. If you want to explore this topic further, you can dive deep by accessing our entire uncensored library on unified.tv. There's a link in the description below this video if you want to check it out. A membership to Unified TV gives you unlimited access to hundreds of uncensored podcasts, investigative journalism, documentaries, films, and content that was once available on major streaming platforms like Netflix, but is now banned from the internet. For just $14.99 a month, which is less than $1 a day, you get access to it all. Your subscription also helps keep the platform running free from censorship and corporate influence. Please consider supporting us and enjoy all of our unfiltered and thought-provoking content in return. Thank you very much, and I will see you on Unified TV.